the purposes of performance, the name is Marko Antoine.
Marko Antoine.
Yeah, because my full name is Marko Antoine Morales. But I tried again, doesn't work very well.
Can I use that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're already on.
All
right. All right, cool. All right, so thank you for joining me or us today. This is a big day, man. You're the first guest.
I know.
That's pretty badass.
Very nice. I wasn't supposed to be though.
We talked about that, but you're definitely the first comic, if I can call you that, right? I always have a problem with myself calling me that, calling myself a comic, because I feel, you know how I am.
Right.
I'm self-deprecating and stuff. And you've told me, it's like, hey, stop doing that. But no, yeah. Whenever I get another comic, and I think, who was it? Lando. I think he posted something last week, and he was like, hey, all you comics, and if you want to come hang out or come to our open mic or whatever. And I was like, oh man, he called me a comic.
Right.
I was so, I was like, man, I'm finally part of their group.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because there's levels to it, right? But yeah, I mean, you're still, I mean, like your open micer, your feature, stuff like that. You know, like, I mean. Yeah, but it's all comedy. So
right.
You're a comedian or a comic, however you want.
Yeah, and I have been getting a lot of compliments. Obviously, you've told me a bunch of nice stuff.
That's a damn lie.
And I've gotten a lot of nice stuff from which I'm pretty sure it's lies too. Everything that everybody tells me.
Everybody lies.
Yeah, exactly. But at least beauty's in the what? No, it's ignorance is bliss.
There you go.
I'm getting my sayings mixed up.
Oh man, I mean It's been fun watching you, man, for sure.
Well, I appreciate that. So, you told me that, like, you're... All right, so I'm going to introduce you properly now. Like 2 minutes into this already. So we're with Marko Antoine.
That's right. Thank you.
Is that your stage name?
That's well, it's my real name. It's just that I don't use my full name, right? So my actual name is Marko Antoine Morales. Mm-hmm. But I've been published every now and then, back in the day, with different things like different magazines, and I wrote the first feature story for the Chihuahuas, their inaugural season. I interviewed Pat Murphy. So for things like that, I used my name Marko Morales, and I leave my middle name out of it. Okay. But for comedy, I've tried to get the people who promote to just use Marko Antoine, but it's just too easy. I mean, if you know it's my real name, I mean, it's just too easy to...
to get it mixed up. See, I haven't had that problem yet. Like, my name, and somebody told me when I first went on, I think it was Darius, actually, we're going to start talking shit of all the other comics. Yeah. He won't listen to this. Maybe. He's going to call me, or he's going to hit me up at the open mic. But whenever I went up a few weeks back, and I tried to go up, just like, I was, hey, just put me on as Angel. And he was like, bitch, you ain't Cher. You ain't like Cher.
I remember
use your whole name.
I remember hearing him do that.
And I was like, all right. So I just gave him my last name. I was like, it's Angel Rodriguez, man. And it's a long name. Like, if everybody that's Rodriguez in like entertainment, it's always the one that always comes up, it's A-Rod. Yeah. And then actually the drummer from Footprints, the short guy, that crazy drummer. Actually no, it's where's it, Glossalia? Not even Footprints. Getting mixed up my bands too. Man, everybody's gonna be hating. And I wonder why people don't listen.
Well, you're saying that's his last name, Rick?
No. He was telling me Angel Rod. Oh. Because Rodriguez, it sounds too long. There's only like what, Michelle Rodriguez in like movies and stuff where you get that full last name.
I don't know, man. I like the way your full name sounds.
I think so too, and I figured, you know what, I might just lean into it. Just, it's a long last name, and then just go.
I mean, really lean into it. You got a middle name?
The Angel's my middle name. First name is Jose.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's a first. That's an exclusive here with
Jose, you. Right? Jose Rodriguez. Nah, I like Angel Rodriguez. That's a good. I think that's a strong comedic name. Like.
I think it's solid
for a good stage name. Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, I feel I used to go with Jose like a lot, and I was, I don't know, people. It's funny because people are, and I hate that saying. I always try to point it out. We all say it's funny because it's nothing's funny. I've been pointing that out recently. It's like every story when we're hanging out, everybody's like, "Oh, but it's funny because no, it's not funny. It's just a story." You're just saying that phrase because you have nothing to put there. You don't know how to begin a sentence.
You're filling space.
Exactly. It's like using the word like.
There you go.
Right? And I've tried to step away from all that. And now I replace like with, it's funny because it's not funny. You know, if I'm having a conversation at one of the open mics with somebody and somebody's talking, like last week, at Famos we were having a conversation and somebody started their story like that. But it was funny because it's like, no, and I started laughing. I was like, all right, I got to step away.
Oh, man.
But I am trying to stay away from all those like filler phrases.
Right.
You know. So anyway, we're talking about you, man. So, did you start as a comedy? Like, did you want to do comedy, or because you have the best voice in El Paso. You really do.
Oh man, I've been told I have the perfect face for radio.
Yeah.
No, no, I've always been in some form of entertainment since I was very young. I mean, I from like doing like Elvis Presley musical plays when I was like 6 or 7 years old.
That's cool.
You know, moving into, you know, I did a little bit of modeling. Some of those, like, I don't know if you said you grew up here, yeah. So there used to be this one thing on Par 102 where they would do like the Teen Expo. Do you remember that stuff back in the day?
No, I might be a little past my time.
Yeah,
before my time.
It might have been before. Yeah, I am a little bit older than you for sure. Thanks for bringing that up.
Of course, it's more experienced.
But yeah, they used to have these things. It was called Teen Expo, and they used to, all the teenagers and preteens in El Paso would all go gather up at like the Civic Center, I think it was back in the day, and they would have these loud music and all these different like. Places where you can go to see like car stereos and boom boxes, and then they had like a dance area in the back where they had DJs playing, and
I think I remember those.
Yeah, and then they used to have like different like dance crews back in the day, right? They would go and battle each other, so to speak, and that sort of stuff. And we would go and do the whole modeling thing with one of the agencies that I worked with as a kid. And then after that, you know, I got into music once I hit high school, and did that. I mean, I still love to play music. I'll perform any opportunity that I get. Right. But and then shortly after got into music, I was in a short film and a television pilot.
Oh, so no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you play. What instrument do you play? Like we never talked about it.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I play rhythm guitar and I do lead vocals, and that's what I started out in music with, and that's what I just kept with the whole time. But yeah, when I took you in that room back there, I didn't know if you noticed, but that's where all the music equipment is.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of took a peek because I didn't know if we were gonna do it back there or anything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've never asked you. So you play guitar, vocals, and you did tell me you had a couple bands, right? Yeah,
I played in a couple bands over the years. The first band I started in was after I graduated from high school. I moved to Austin. I lived in Austin for a year, and then I moved out to San Antonio. I was in San Antonio for 3 years, and during that time, I started a band called Crystal Souls.
Crystal Souls. Can we find some of Crystal Souls anywhere?
Thankfully, no.
No, any cassettes laying around?
Thankfully, no, you can't. It's actually the only cover band I was ever in. We I mean, we covered. Yeah, my guitarist. Loved the 80s music, and so we would cover like John Cougar Mellencamp, Jack and Diane.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and we would sprinkle in some of the stuff that I first started working on.
Wait, and you were on vocals?
Yeah, I was on vocals.
You were on vocals? Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So Jack and Diana? That's badass. All right.
But, and actually at that time, I was only on vocals. I didn't play guitar at that time. It wasn't until I left San Antonio after 3 years, and I moved to Arizona. My brother was living out in Tucson, Arizona, with a couple of other guys that we graduated from high school with here at El Paso High, and I got out there, and as I was moving from San Antonio to Tucson, they were putting this band together. Okay. And so I came in and joined them as a second vocalist and a second rhythm guitarist, and it was a 6-piece band that we called the Fuel Project.
Right, yeah, that's the one that I've heard more about.
Yeah, that's the one that most like when you talk to people that know music here in El Paso back, you know, of course several years back.
Yeah,
you know, that's usually the one that most people will remember.
The Fuel. That's a good name too. The Fuel Project.
Yeah, well that came from Sunset, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The band, Rafa Pistola, who was also the lead vocalist of Mexicans at Night, and Get the Honey.
Right.
Several of the guys from the band grew up in Sunset, and they came up with it because of the two streets, Fuel and Prospect.
Okay.
And they cross each other, I believe. They're in Sunset, so they came up with the name, the Fuel Project.
That makes sense. That's cool. I always like to hear like origin stories for band names.
Right.
I know I had in high school a lot of friends. If you're like into that, you'll see a lot of people that come up with their own bands as well.
Right.
And like I remember there was a band in high school that there was a guy, and it was all of their names or all of their initials, and they just kind of shook them in a box, and it came up with a pretty cool name. Yeah.
Nice.
It was Mad Jeff's Booms. Matt Jeff's Boom or something like that.
Wow.
And I don't know if anybody remembers that name, but for some reason it's stuck in my and it's actually one of the guys from Doomsday. I don't know if you saw I'm wearing their little merch. It was one of my friends from there.
Nice.
And that's how they tell me. And you always hear people that just come up with random like nice words. It's like, oh, it's just two words that we came up with and just threw them together.
Oh, my brother was the best at coming up with names for bands.
It's a gift, right?
Yeah,
I mean, coming up with like even a stage name
Uh-huh.
but bad names. What was the what was some good ones that he's got?
Well, right after my brother and I and the other guys in the band separated from the Fuel Project. They continued on as the Fuel Project for a bit, and then my brother and I started a band that he named Overbite Annie.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Overbite?
Overbite Annie.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Yeah. I'll show you one of the stickers that we used to have back in the day. I think I still have one there on one of my guitar cases.
Shout out to Annie's Adventures, huh? Now that's saying she has an overbite. Right. She's like, hey, don't compare me with that. But it's a good name.
Right.
Yeah, Overbite Annie.
Annie. And then
cool.
one of the band names that we threw around that we thought we might use that I always loved, and we never actually used it when we performed, but was Hallway Harlot.
Hallway Harlot.
Yeah,
It's a solid name.
That was a great
It's like
name.
a sexy, like naughty name.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
We played under a band. We played under the name also from my brother called These Hidden Transcripts.
Okay, it's very high school, high schoolish on that.
And then one that I came up with proudly called Suicide Pigeons.
Pigeons. You have a thing for pigeons, huh?
I do. Yeah. I do, man. You just walk through the area where that joke was created. It came out.
And if you guys haven't heard, but Marko has a great fucking pigeon joke. Really, it's literally a fucking pigeon joke.
Right, but not a human fucking pigeon joke.
It's just a great fucking pigeon joke. We'll leave it at that. That way people will come out and see it. That way when all of our comic friends are sharing these, we could.
Right.
It's like, hey, what was that joke about? So you're originally from here.
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know because I look up to a lot of people that travel for their art.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw anybody that did that. Like, I had family like in Juarez that like my grandpa. He was I don't know if he was a mariachi, but he was more of a musician.
Okay.
And he would play like at bars and stuff. From what I know, I never saw him, but I always pictured it when I was a little kid that he was a musician. He played accordion, and I think he played downtown. And I never really knew where or what he really did, but I knew he was a musician of sorts, and from what you hear and the ideas like in my head, I always thought he was the guy at a bar and everybody's drinking and smoking. Back in the day,
right.
Everybody's drinking and smoking and everybody's having a good time, and you just have this band up there playing like all the old school drinking music like Invasores and Rieleros. And the loud like good stuff, and people would dance and everything, and that's what I would picture him. Right. But I never got to see him, and he's still alive, and he's still very much into his music a lot. But he's really old, so he obviously doesn't do it anymore. But I always liked that because I think he was a legit musician, right. And he's still he like all our family, like my mom's side of my family. I mean, I think he raised all of us. I don't know how he did it. But I remember he would always come home with like mandado and everything, and I was like, man, like this guy's like he's supporting a family, he's doing what he loves, and you could tell he loved it.
Right.
He still does. And that's what I look up to a lot of people like you. I mean, you traveled. I don't know if you specifically traveled because of like the art that you were following, but I don't know. All like the obstacles in my life, I guess, if I want to call it that. But I've always been scared. I want to have like stability. You know?
Right.
Like I just don't want to depend on anybody. And I'm like, nah, like I gotta have something like set in stone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like being an artist, it's very unpredictable.
Right.
Like where you're gonna sleep sometimes, or where you're gonna perform next, or if you're even gonna get paid.
Right.
So I look up to, and that's a lot of people that I've met. You know, like you, where you guys depend on your artistic talents, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to San Antonio, California, Arizona, and then you're actually able to like feed yourself from that, clothe yourself and feed yourself.
Right.
So I don't know how that.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never gotten to the level where I would be able to like completely like live off of what I made on music. But for me, it was never really about that, right? For me, it was just about for the love of playing music.
Right.
I mean, when I lived out in California for a few years, right, making some acrobatics behind me.
Yeah.
But when I lived out in California for a few years, I mean, I performed very little, and really when I did perform, it was for a very small group of people in a backyard that just wanted to hear, you know, a couple hours of live music and stuff like that. And you know, for me, it was just always about. I mean, because I've played in front of crowds of 3 or 4 people, you know, and that's counting the bartender and wait staff.
Yeah. Which I've come to love that.
Yeah.
I always heard of all these, specifically like open micers, but I know it is a thing with bands too, where you're just playing for nobody even.
Yeah, for sure. But for me, it was like, I mean, you see one new face that's never heard a couple of those songs that you wrote or whatever, and I'm gonna play my heart out for them, you know, because I want them to hear, you know, what I've worked on.
Right.
Stuff,
Yeah.
you know,
and I've come to like that. Just being able to play for people that are there to see you. It's just, you know, it's a good time, and it's very pure. It's very raw. Mm-hmm. It's just you're doing something because, like, you just want to do it. Right. You know, and you're putting, like you said, your heart and soul into it.
Right. Yeah, and the whole comedy thing. There's a couple double and triple threats out there, man. Anthony Austin Brown is a hell of a musician with Feline Fox, you know, and Darius Jackson does his thing. Have you seen him?
That guy can do anything.
Or keyboards or whatever. Yeah, man. I mean, these guys are man. I'm sure there's others, you know. But you know, those are the two that I've seen specifically do both comedy and, you know, get able to do some music.
Yeah. See, and the cool thing, well, me, I've always liked like alternative rock or like grungy rock. Not specifically like so much into the grunge. I never like dove deep into grunge, but I know most of the grunge bands that are more on the mainstream, I guess.
Right.
And then recently, you know, because I was a truck driver for a long time, so you're able to kind of, you know, I don't want to listen to whatever's on the regular radio, so you would go out and search for these other things. And that's kind of where I started developing my own style of music. I play guitar a little bit. I'm not really a guitar player, but I always wanted to try that. You know, I never really found somebody that was that we had like the similar tastes to be able to, hey, let's make a band.
Right.
Like one of my favorite bands is Audioslave.
Okay.
Because I feel like they have like, it's very grunge noise, but they also have a lot of music that's very rock that you would hear on the radio.
Right.
And I like that.
Do you like what Cornell was doing before that?
I like some. Yeah, I like some. I would probably say 50-50. Like there was some stuff that was a little kind of weird because you know, he was like into psychedelics and all that stuff, and I haven't delved into that as of yet. I do want to expand more on my journey, if I want to call it. But yeah, and that's my thing. I've always had to kind of look after myself, and like I was on my own for a while, and I mean now I am pretty much on my own, and I'm doing okay. You know, my girl supports me a lot. She's so supportive. She helps me out a lot, and that's why I feel this freedom to be able to do the open mics.
Right.
She's so supportive, and we were talking about this. I think the night that I told you to come on the podcast, that it's cool to have somebody so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, she's not like, hey, like don't go out, like what are you gonna do and everything. And she's always been like, hey, are you going out tonight? So, like, just let me know. Or she's even brought it up a couple times, which is kind of cool. Because I finally feel it's like, okay, like all my other shit's taken care of.
Right.
Now I can go do this thing that you know, like all my responsibilities are taken care of. So now let me go have some fun.
Right. See, I think we have a very similar situation in that, you know, my lady's also extremely supportive.
Yeah.
But you also don't see her at any of the open mics.
Yeah. yeah. Seriously. It's like, so they just say they're supportive. I was like, fuck yeah, just leave.
Just get out of here. Just
whatever. Just go do your thing.
Right.
Yeah, but I know I found that out, and yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because we are so similar in that sense, and that's kind of what I like about where I am at in life right now, and why I started doing it. Because I mean, I've only been at this for a little bit, but I think it has to do a lot, because you know it would be a lot easier to just be by yourself and stuff, but you also need to have that. You know, like that stability, financial stability, right. Which it sucks. And, you know, like my hat's off to a lot of people that just leave. There's just like, you know what, I'll leave everything behind. I'll go to California or Louisiana, anywhere where there's something happening. And that's why you get that story a lot, right? Like the starving artist and stuff like that. It's a never ending story. So I always wanted to do, I guess I wanted to do it smart.
Right.
But yeah, so I had to wait a few more years, and then now I'm here. And you know, I've had a great time just meeting all the other comics and stuff. You can tell they enjoy what they do.
For sure. Yeah, I remember because we first met at the living room. Right, that was the first.
Yeah, it was the first time I did it. Yeah, that was the first open mic that I went to was at the living room. So yeah. We're marking it in time right now. Yeah. It's because I don't think I'd mentioned that one. I think I talked about it on the podcast when I went out to the first time. When you were there, Booga was there, and then was it Chadamin that was hosting?
Yeah, it must have been. It had to have been, yeah, because it was when he first started up there. After everything opened back up again, yeah.
And it's been a good time so far, you know. And everybody's told. Well, and I've noticed this too. I've noticed kind of, I'm growing on what I'm doing on stage.
Right.
And it's cool to see because, like I've never talked about this, I guess, on the podcast, but I started as a theater kid. That's what I always did. So the way I could differentiate it is when you're in theater, you have a script. So it's easy for me. I like being on stage. I can be comfortable on stage. And not to sound cocky, but it's easy to have something that somebody else has written for you and just be like, okay, act sad or act happy about this. And then just read it and then act it out. So that's easy for me. The hard part is writing my own stuff. Like just make something from nothing. That's the part that scares me because I never really was a writer. You know, and that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, I mean,
doing open mics.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think, most anybody can write, man. I mean, honestly, and this is coming from someone. Well, okay, maybe, maybe I have a little bit more confidence in that. You know, I actually got my education in multimedia journalism, communications. You know, creative writing, you know, that sort of thing. You know, so I am a writer. You know, so I think that sort of thing just kind of comes naturally for me. But, think of it as that script that you're saying someone else wrote for you, and to act this way and that way. Think of it as just as if you're the one writing that script out.
Right.
You know.
And I think I'm growing into it because I could talk shit. Like I could talk shit all day, and it's just making it in a way where because I might be able to make it interesting. But it's making it funny. Right. That's where it gets tricky for me because plus I have like a bunch of obscure like things that I find funny.
Right. Well, we all do. But let me.
Right.
But it's
just ask me. Just go straight up ask me.
Right. It's just interesting to me, man. I mean, you think that writing it out is so difficult, but what's your process? I mean, do you like when you get up on that stage?
Mm-hmm.
Has any of that material that you use up on that stage? Have you ever put it down in a notebook or any?
Oh yeah,
you do.
yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, definitely. I haven't gotten up on stage with nothing to write, and I've gotten up on stage a couple times for like, you know how sometimes we'll do like a second round.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be ready for that second round, and you could tell because I'll just fucking eat it on stage. But I'll usually go out, and I'll play to what I know. I'll have like one set, and I'll be like, all right, I worked on this these last few days.
Right.
And different crowds also like manage differently. And I have tried to do that where I'll just write for like one specific set, and then I'll be like, okay, that's it. And then hey, we're doing a second round, and they'll just throw me in there, and I won't be ready, and you can tell. But I'll have the material. It's just I won't be prepared for it.
Okay.
And that's really what throws me off for the second round. Like if you see me at these open mics, a lot of the time, the second round I'm not prepared, and that's why I've had to abstain from going to a lot of open mics because all these guys are always like, today we got a text, hey, are you coming out to the open mic?
Right.
And that's why I'll abstain from going out, and I feel bad because I'm like, man, like this guy's asking me to come out. I should go out, but I'll be busy writing something that I know it's still not ready. And I do want to be able to have something. It's just my mind. It gets set in its way, I guess.
Right. But I've told somebody is that, and I'm fairly new to it too. I started just shortly before everything got shut down. A few months before that. But I tell them all the time. I mean, these open mics are your time to practice. So it makes sense to go and do the same jokes over and over and reword them and try them out a different way and that sort of thing. That's what those open mics are for.
Right.
And the other open micers that are there waiting to perform are supposed to get sick of your stuff.
And that was one of the weirdest things that I found out when I came up to the open mics, because for the first like month or so, I saw the same open micers, and then I saw the same material where, to the point that you could tell, oh, okay, he's gonna change this up or he's changed this up, and it's cool. But I felt really self-conscious because I was like, my stuff, being hypercritical of me, I was like, all right, my stuff needs some more work, and these guys are still seeing that it's not the funniest, and I just don't want to be boring them with like, all right, like, Angel, you haven't fucking fixed this. It's like, just change this or change anything. And so I got really self-conscious about that. Right. And I still am a little bit. And then my thing also, and all the hosts have told me this, like Sharita's told me this, Jerry's told me this, Lando's told me this, like a lot of the hosts and all these, just doing the shout outs for all these guys that have treated us, or me, they've treated me so nice.
Yeah, no, same here.
They've always told me, hey, just keep working on the same thing. And my problem is that I'll think of something, I'll stop in the middle of like work, I'll stop on my tracks and just pull out my phone and be like, oh, this is funny. Right. And then I'll try to put it in immediately that same day. Like, I won't try to mess with it or anything, and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna just try it out, see what sticks. And then from that I'll work on it some more time.
Right.
But most of the time it sucks. But I'll and that's why, like, I try to record my very first good set was at Scenics. Okay. It was when I got some like decent laughs where I was like, all right, people laughed and everything. Up until then, it had been just going up on stage and it was like, is this supposed to be funny? Like, what is going on? So the very first time that I had a good set was at Scenics, and my phone was like, I need a new phone, but my phone was like stuck and I couldn't press the record button on the recorder, and I was like, fuck. And I went up on stage and I had a good time, and I had a good set, and I was like, fuck, like, I can't believe, like, I just missed on. And yeah, of course, once you jump off stage, you forget all that shit.
Right. How many shows did you do before that good Scenic show?
I think it was one of the one of the first few scenics ones. Maybe it was probably like the third one.
Yeah.
That went on because I knew that I wasn't ready for scenics because I thought, okay, you know what, this sounds so disrespectful to the open mics. It's like, the open mics are down here and then I gotta move up to scenics. But I always I always do this in my mind where I'll have my own like order of what I think I should be ascending to, and I'll be like, okay, like the open mics, and open mics are great. Like now I'm coming to learn that that's where like you learn, and it's more valuable, I think. And I'm just thinking about this right now. I think open mics are more valuable than that big show because at open mics, that's where you're figuring shit out.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make people laugh that are not necessarily there to laugh. So I think that's, I can't believe I hadn't thought about it until just now. But for, I guess it would be in size of the venue. I always had like, okay, first I'll do the open mics at these places, and then the more popular one would be maybe this one, and then I'll do the big venue in El Paso, which to me it was always the comic strip.
Right.
I'll be like, okay, like once I'm asked to be at the comic strip, I'll think like, oh, okay, well I have something decent. But yeah, like, and now I feel like there's, of course, like there's getting to the comic strip, but there's also a lot of like power and there's a lot of importance in the open mics.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm coming to realize since I've started.
Yeah. I mean, to me, and it's just my opinion, but to me, I mean, you don't want to turn down many opportunities at all when it comes to these open mics, whether it's being able to get up on stage for 5 to 7 minutes at a open mic, or being asked to host an open mic weekly, or to get up on those showcases as a special guest or a feature, and eventually, like you said, if you're good enough to get up to the to the comic strip.
Yeah,
it's a process. It takes work. It takes dedication.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It really does. One of the things that I was always told, and it was told by multiple people when I was doing theater, was because they did call me an artist, and it always makes me kind of gag a little bit to call myself an artist, because I think everybody that does some sort of art, it's like, oh, I'm an artist. Like, listen, I just play music. Being an artist, like, oh, I'm so full. I'm an artist or whatever. One of the things that was told to me multiple times was that artists like instant gratification.
Yeah.
So I think that's my problem. I do that a lot, where I'll see that something's coming to fruition and it's growing, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done with that, and then I'll move on to something else.
Right.
So that's kind of what this has taught me in doing the open mics. That I started with the same bit. Like one of my first bits was about like infomercials.
Okay.
And I abandoned that for a while. And then, like, last week, I brought it up again, and it was like, oh, it was better. Like, I left it, like, marinate or something.
Right.
And just coming back to it. And that was, like, my first, like, structured bit where I sat down and I thought about it I think it was the first or second open mic. And now I'm getting to the point where, oh, okay, this is where it's funny, and then I could add some more funny things to it. But it still is the same bit that I started.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I've learned the most, that just not to abandon something just because it starts doing good. Because it shouldn't just be good. You should keep it to where it's really good.
Yeah, it's got to be polished.
Exactly. And that's always been my problem. And, you could see it with my cars and everything. Like my truck needs so much work. You saw it the other day. It's like, all right, but it runs and drives and everything, so I'm just not going to paint it and everything. Like, I'll just use it for what it is, and then I'll open up another project.
Right.
I'll buy a car.
Yeah.
And then,
I think most, and it's funny, most artists have that same type of problem, right? It's like, I mean, with my writing, for example, I've got so many creative writing projects, different short stories and series, different things that I've got folders on my computer, just where I've got little bits and pieces here and there, and that's one of the worst things you can do. You need to pick one and see it all the way through.
Right.
That's the best advice I was ever given, and I mean, and I'll be honest, I still don't always take it.
Yeah.
But it really is great advice. I mean, it's the way that you're gonna get through that project start to finish.
Right, it would be like nurturing. I think I've heard this analogy used before, or a metaphor, like a plant or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, if it's something you just work it, you just nurture it, you water it, you take care of it, but every day you look into it, see how you could make it better.
Right.
So that's what I'm learning right now. I think I'm doing pretty good.
Right. Yeah, you always want to be writing as much as possible, but like you learning that you don't necessarily want to throw it in all the time. That's definitely a good thing to learn, I think, because you want to. All right, cool. This is funny. I'm gonna put it off to the side until I can, maybe work it in somewhere after I've got this solid, 5-7 minutes or so. And because what you're doing is you're trying to work up to eventually have that solid 20 minutes where you can go, and network and find these other comedians that like what you're doing or whatever, and they maybe invite you out to some place and be like, hey, you can open up. You got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So and then. Just keep adding on to that, But you always want to write. You don't always necessarily want to be throwing it out there every open mic that you hit up.
Yeah, that's true. And also one of the things that's helping here in El Paso is I saw this coming a while back, where we're becoming, and I want to be a part of it. And I told my girl this last year, right before the pandemic, because I was starting to take it serious before it became a thing, and I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I could see how how the expression goes. I could see the writing on the wall,
right?
Where El Paso is gonna be. It can be the next, place where it's gonna happen.
Right.
And I still believe that. With all the people that I've met and everything that I kind of see coming up, I still see that writing on the wall where El Paso, and I've heard this a lot with the bands, that we're always like a pass-through point.
Right.
And I want to be a part of making El Paso not a pass-through point, but a stop. A stop. We have all these, bands, even comics. They'll pass through here and they won't stay, but they'll do a set over at the comic strip or at an open mic on their way to Austin or Dallas. And I told my girl, I was like, because I was born and raised here too. Right. So I told my girl, I was like, I want to be part of that community that makes El Paso a stop.
Right.
Not just a little pass through, just because we have a Whole Foods, everybody's just parks their trailer there, and it's like, all right, we're going to park there, and then we'll just head on out. But we won't perform in El Paso. And that's really my goal with this, too, to highlight all of our local artists, and then to also grow El Paso in that artistic scene that we do have. We have very talented people.
Oh man, absolutely. We have so many in all forms of art out there. Got some talented comedians, musicians, visual artists. Muralists. It's just. There's so many that you could. Just off the top of my head, I can think of so many out there that are just doing some great things, and it'd just be great to get them some more acknowledgement.
And give us I know we have venues here, for that. I think the bars, also the breweries, I think they help a lot. But it would be nice to get a specific, even a festival. You get a over in Indio, you got the big festivals. Maybe we could be part of making a festival here, to the point where it's it's a specific festival for all. Even Juarez. Even Juarez has the Feria,
right.
Which they throw in some of their artists too, and I think that's cool because I think Juarez is also kind of underrated, and it's a very proud place.
Right.
And it's it's a little more rough than it is here, but that's also kind of one of my goals here. Not to overshoot it and not to reveal so much, but eventually I would like to have something going on down there too, because we're sister cities and we're so close. There's people every day, and this
back
is
and forth,
all through the borderline. Any border city has that where, we I grew up over there part of my life too, so we have families still, and we used to travel back and forth a lot more, and I think it's very possible, I think, to reconnect, especially in an artistic.
That would be really cool.
All right, man. So let's get into all these events because I was trying to keep it under an hour because this is the first one. This is the first. It's exciting that you're the first guest. So I did want to talk about the open mics first before we get to to all the events that we have, and there's a lot of events going
There
on,
is,
man.
I was just looking at that.
There's a lot of events. I'm also part of like a car show page, Car Meets from El Paso, and there was a lot of car meets going on also, like all this week. So I'll probably have all the like I guess regular events over here on the laptop, and then on my phone, I could change this over here, and then on my phone I'll bring up like the car shows and stuff.
Right on.
The bad thing is that there's not a. They don't tell you. It's mixed up like Saturday and then tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll try to just focus on the ones that are more specific to art.
Right.
And then see like I think this one's in Juarez. So that's kind of the thing that kind of throws me off. And see like this one. This is the one that I was going to save earlier. But now let's go ahead and start off while I kind of arrange these here. Well, since I started to find the rhythm, let's just talk about the open mics. Like on the days, because to me it's still a little confusing. They started throwing out some like every other Wednesday, every other Thursday.
Right.
So which ones are the ones that are
as far as I know, you've got on Mondays, you've got Jerry Carnes doing Monday Mamadas at Crown and Eagle.
Yeah.
That's over off of Lee Trevino. Tuesday, it's every other Tuesday at Mona. You got
that's tonight.
Which is tonight. You got Anthony Ryan and Orlando VC that throw that open mic every other Tuesday. Okay. So next Tuesday they won't be having that going on, and then the following Tuesday they will.
See, and that's the one that throws me off all the time.
Right.
And then also, I don't know if we should mention it, but I know there were some that like they were going on, and they're not anymore. But these are the ones that are going on.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of changed up a little bit. But then on Wednesday. You got yours truly hosting Foul Mouths.
Hell yeah.
And that one starts at 9 p.m. on Wednesday nights.
That's on Piedras, right?
That's on Piedras, yeah, right there, close to headquarters. And so then you got Thursdays at...
I did want to throw in Jerry's starting another one.
That's right. Jerry has also on Wednesday nights as well at is it Club Rave or Raves Club? That's over. It's over close. It's across the Gateway. I don't remember the name of the street. I keep hearing people throw Commerce. Yeah. I keep hearing people.
I don't know what the number is.
Right.
But it is on Commerce Street.
Yeah. I tried to make it out this past weekend. This past Wednesday after we packed up for my open mic. That we throw there at Foul Mouths. But I didn't make it out there, unfortunately, in time to get up.
I think it was the first one. Okay. So I guess it was the first one. Yeah. Let's just leave it at that.
Right.
So, but I think he is going to come back. But yeah, and see, that's the kind of thing that I like, where there's multiple, that where you could, like you said, running the gauntlet on multiple ones. And, of course, being on a bike.
Yeah, it's nice to just cruise out to one, hit the other. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. So that's Wednesday.
I'm glad you said that because I meant to mention that one and then it escaped me.
Foul Mouths
on Piedras, and then Raves Club on Commerce. Yeah, those are both Wednesday nights. And then Thursday nights you have the PI Ray's Backyard on the stage at the Pershing Inn, which is on Pershing Drive.
Okay.
If the name of the bar didn't give it away.
Right, yeah, the Pershing Inn.
And then Friday nights you got Scenics, which is also thrown out there by Jerry.
Man, you guys are busy.
Right. And then Saturdays, Saturdays and Sundays are left for these comics to write and recoup and do other things, I guess.
Right. I like that Saturday's kind of left open because it is a lot. It's good opportunities all the time. But yeah, I like that Saturdays are off, and then Sundays over at the living room, it kind of changes back and forth.
Yeah,
right?
they do a brunch one Sunday, or at least it seems like that's what they've been doing, right? They do a brunch one Sunday, and then they do an evening Sunday.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to keep track of it.
Yeah, I think this coming up Sunday is going to be an evening.
An evening one?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think shout out to Andrew
Vargas. Out of Las Cruces. Yeah, he's going to host that one, right?
It's our boys coming over here.
Right.
So I think that's the whole week. Mm-hmm. So Sunday through, what is it? Sunday through Friday.
Friday, right.
That's a good solid thing. And then of course, like the comic strip, they have their guests like every week, right? And they usually do Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
I know last week, I missed, and I hate this because I missed Raymond Horta and Mario Salazar. So Mario Salazar, he's hilarious. I love his voiceover videos.
Uh-huh.
It's the funniest they are.
Yeah, but you got to see Horta at the competition.
Exactly. Yeah, and I got to meet him, so that was really, really cool. That I got to.
That was a really fun night.
It was. It was a good time. All right, so let's go ahead and start with these. Look, this is the one it started last week. So it would be that paranormal. I don't know how to say that word.
Well, I mean, it's like Cirque Olay or Circus Olay. So I just say circus. I don't know. Man.
So what I was calling, I was like, you know what?
Speak
It's
English
paranormal
and Spanish,
circus.
but I don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Paranormal circus.
There you
right?
go. Yeah.
And that one's at the Sullen Park Mall parking lot.
Right.
And I believe that one's here until like June, maybe a couple weeks here.
Yeah, and it's like an adult show, so no kiddos, man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a paranormal thing, and like there's people hanging and
scantily clad people. Well, I'm sure there's like, that's what I read, man.
Right. No, yeah, I know, and it's I always refer everybody to look these up online. So they're here up until June the 6th, and I believe they're open every day. And this is the next one that I had on there. This is at Dead Beach Brewery, which I love all the breweries, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I know it became like a hipster thing to just go to the breweries and personally smoke a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. I think it's cool. Yeah. So this one's Records and Chill.
Walt on Wax. Yeah, I used to see him out there back a few years back. He would do his thing at Dead Beach. Nice. That's really cool. Yeah, he sets up his turntables and his speakers and gets down. He plays some really great music. I love it.
Nice. Is that a recurring thing? Because it says Thursdays.
Well, see, back in the day, they did it. He was there every week. I don't remember what day it was. It might have been Thursdays. I don't remember. It was a couple years ago. But yeah, I always loved being there, checking that one out.
Oh man, this is gonna throw me back out. See, I didn't bring my mouse because I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this just on the laptop.
All right.
It's happening. So yeah, I guess that one is kind of recurring on Thursdays. Anyway, I did try to find the ones on the car shows. There's a bunch of my groups that are here. And you could talk about your foul mouths too, man. You're very, very modest about it.
Oh man, we just started that one up. I guess this is going to be like maybe our 7th Wednesday. I think if I've counted them out correctly.
Nice.
But no, man, it's a good time. Some of the funnier comedians come out and hang out and have a good time. We every now and then we're able to do a second round where the comics will get a chance to get up a second time and try out some of the other stuff that they don't regularly do.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm telling you, it killed me. And that's why I figured I'd go up first because I like at the beginning I thought, you know what, you don't want to be the first one up there.
Oh, I never really cared for being the first one.
And then I thought about it. I was like, you know what, man? I got to be real with myself. Being the first one, you kind of set the mood.
Yeah.
And it's a good opportunity to get up on stage. And then if you're not funny, nobody will remember you. It's like, whatever. This is just whoever that guy is.
I like that way of thinking. I love it.
So I figured, you know what? I'm going to keep going up there. If I have to be the first one, because I know everybody kind of shies away from being
most
first.
People do, man.
Yeah.
Most of them will, man. I found my sweet spot real early at around 3 or 4. That's where I really love to be. If I can go up 3rd or 4th,
yeah, I think that's a good. Like somewhere in the middle, especially if there's only there's about 8 comics maybe.
Right.
I think that's a good place. But yeah, that was one of the things that I had kind of an issue with, and then I was like, you know what? Turn your weakness into your strength.
Yeah.
Plus get my, and then I'm gonna start when I'm on stage. I'm gonna start throwing out my Instagram and the podcast because I haven't done that.
There you go. Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while to try to keep it. I want to make sure this becomes a good product before. Hey, go listen to me just talk shit by myself for an hour,
Right.
So now I'm starting to get to the point where, all right, okay, this is getting to where I want it where it's at. So that's I'll start throwing it out there,
promoting yourself a little more.
Yeah. And one of the people that told me, and she was kind of a hard ass on me. It was Sharita. She was like, and it was actually at the competition with Raymond Northa. She's she was the one that told me out because everybody knew about the competition. They've been posting about it, and she's the one that told me, "Are you coming out to the competition?" And I was all hesitant. I was like, I'm not too sure. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to make it out there. I don't know if I have enough material to go out. And she's like, all right, well, I want you to go. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're going. Like, you need to go. And she kind of intimidated me into going. And I ended up going, so it worked. And she was, like I said, she's that one person that looks like a hard ass, but I have nothing but nice things to say about her. I'm so thankful, and it was a really good opportunity. I mean, I would have, it's basically got to see Raymond Horta, after hours, pretty much. Because that night he did.
He went on for a while, man. He
did.
For a while.
No, but I'm saying he had that show at
the comic strip first,
right? And then he headed over there afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but you're right about Sharita. She has some really great advice if you listen to her, and sit down and talk to her, and she can throw you. I mean, she's been doing it for a while now, and she's doing her thing. I mean, she hosts pretty regularly out there at Inn of the Mountain Gods and does her thing.
Oh, really? Yeah, and I know she's kind of a big deal, and she's very what is it, modest also. She's like, she doesn't say like, I'm all this shit and everything.
Nah, she's willing. I mean, if you're willing to listen, she's willing to teach you what she knows, man.
Yeah. So I'm thankful, and like I said, I mean, you're the first one here, but I do want to have eventually all of the comics that we have here in El Paso. I would like to. So, but I chose you first.
I know, man. You didn't choose me first, but whatever. We're not going to get into that again. No, I appreciate it, man, because I was really looking forward to doing this, man. I had a great time, man, and yeah, man, I enjoyed listening to your podcast. I checked it out. I mean, I think I've listened to all of them now.
Oh man, I really appreciate that, especially because I'm pretty sure you can probably hear it because I haven't. This is gonna make me sound like an asshole. I haven't even gone back to listen to all of them, but I do listen to like my open mic sets.
You've got to, man.
But I feel like I've that thing's gonna throw me off.
Sorry.
I feel like that from the very first podcast that I did, now I'm starting to grow into my personality. Much like these things do. You always kind of develop your voice,
exactly.
Right? Anyway, so let's get back into these events. Sorry about that. So this next one, look, there's one right here. This was in July. So I was going to get a couple car shows. I saw a bunch of them. So there's going to be a cruise on Saturday at noon. And this is horsepower cruise. 25 people have confirmed, and that's called Horsepower Cruise on Facebook. All these events are usually on Facebook. The cool thing about I'm in a couple car groups here in El Paso, and a lot of these guys they do like, hey, can you do a drive-by for my kid? And all these guys will show up in trucks and stuff.
Right.
All right, so this next one we have is Saturday, June the 5th, JCPenney Park and Chill at 8 p.m. at 1950 Joe Battle.
Right. Now, are any of these, are they car and bike shows? Because I know they do that from time to time, or are these all like strictly car shows?
I don't see a lot of bikes, to be honest, but I do see a lot of cars and a lot of trucks.
Okay.
Let me see. This one already passed. But yeah, it's not that it's strictly. There are a couple car shows. Most of these are car meets.
Okay.
Which they still get pretty down, and they have some cool cars. They just had one over at Tobin Park. This was this past weekend, and there were some like lowriders. They had some trucks out there, and that's kind of what I like. I saw we were driving around on Sunday on the Nova. And we pulled up next to a dunk. You know what a dunk is? It's like an old lowrider car, but instead of having the lowrider tires, they'll have like 22s or those giant wheels. And it's considered technically a muscle car, but it's a certain style that's for a dunk. Hey, we had to avoid the train this whole time,
right? So dunk, D-U-N-K?
D-O-N-K.
Donk.
Yeah, and I told my girl, I was like, oh, look at that donk. And she's like, oh, what? I was like, it's a donk. That's the name of that style. And then we kept driving, and then we saw a couple Japanese style bobbers,
Uh-huh.
which the Japanese style is like handlebars are really close together,
Uh-huh.
and it's like a chopper.
Right.
And I was like, man, it's cool. It's like cruising around on Sunday, people are starting to go out a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so I have a couple more here. So I already set them all aside, that we could know what we're talking about.
Oh, nice.
So this Thursday through Sunday, I believe, over at the comic strip, our old faithful. I'm gonna try to go to this one. It's gonna be Willy Barcena, June 3rd to the 6th, right there. And they usually start 7:30 and 9:30.
Right.
So that's gonna be most of the week.
I'm gonna have to make plans to hit that one up for sure.
I like Willie, man. I actually have one of his stickers in my toolbox.
Yeah.
And it says the sticker that says "Don't be a dick, bro." I think that's what it says. And I was like, I gotta get one of those stickers. And I have, whenever I start hosting them and then having video, I'm gonna have hopefully my table and I'll have all the stickers there. That's what I'm trying to do there.
Yeah, man. I remember Willie from back in the mid to late '90s when he came to the comic strip. I used to work there. I saw him perform a few times.
Yeah, and he's good, man.
Man.
He's always mad and everything.
He's just he always puts on such a great show.
Yeah, he does. I think that's the first time we went to the comic strip.
Oh, really?
With my girl, so she's like, he was like, I had a good time.
Nice.
All right, let's see. Coming up right here, this is the Rock House Bar and Grill.
Okay.
Smoking Crows.
Smoking
Black Crows.
All right.
I thought that was, who I mistook these guys for? And this is a Saturday also at 8 p.m. at the Rock House Bar and Grill.
You mistook them, like the cartoon that they're using there?
No, the name for Counting Crows.
Oh.
I was like, is it a tribute to Counting Crows?
Okay, yeah. I could see how you could make that same, yeah.
But actually, one of the guys that from the Doomsday, that crew, I guess, is he made their new sign over at the Rock House. So I always like. Plus, the Rock House always throws some good rock shows.
Right.
It's like your heavier rock venue. So that's Saturday, the 5th at 8 p.m. Smoking Crows, a tribute to the Black Crows. You look like you like the Black Crows.
I do. I love those Rockin' Robinsons, man. Just not too long ago, I was checking out some of their old videos on YouTube, as a matter of fact.
All right, this one, it's Sunday, and this is Upper Valley Artists and Farmers Market. This is the one that happens right there at the Hobby Lobby parking lot.
Yeah. I've been there several times before.
This one's a good one. I like it. Do they ever have bands out there? Do you know? And this is Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm just pointing that out.
Right.
Do you know if they ever have bands out there? Somebody playing. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I'm not too sure if I've ever seen them with like a full band or like a little spot for them to play, but I do remember seeing a few times where it's just like one guitarist with the vocals and a little PA, and they might be throwing out some cover tunes here and there.
I think that'd be a good idea if they don't do it yet, and if they're listening.
All right.
I think that'd be cool. Do you know to kind of set the mood out there?
Yeah, I know they do. I know they do it at that other farmers market, and I'm pretty sure I've seen it at this one as well.
Is it the one at Ardovinos over there? I think.
No, I'm talking about the one. I'm pretty sure they do music as well, knowing them. But the one downtown, across from.
The UP, the Union Pacific one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know they'll have both bands, like full bands with drum setup and all that stuff from time to time, and then they also have like the guy or girl that'll be on the side with the PA rocking out their guitar.
I like that one. I like the downtown. It's what is it? Downtown Artists and Farmers Market. And I missed talking about them last week.
Oh really?
Yeah, because they don't do a lot of. They do the day of, but they don't do a lot of like couple days like a heads up. So whenever they came back, I was like, I kind of missed it. And I do like talking about that one because I like the kombucha that they have out there.
Right.
It's some good stuff.
Nice.
I like that. All right, so this one's also Sunday, 10 in the morning, and this is put up by Kaleidoscope. I love all the Kaleidoscope. They also had one last week. It was Rap and Roll. But this is this Sunday, the 6th, at 10 a.m.
A brushes and brunch market?
Brushes and brunch.
Huh.
So this is going to be...
Live painting, very cool.
9530 Viscount.
I wonder if they like anybody just goes and paints stuff there? Is that how that works?
Or
you watch people make portrait or...
Fruit drinks will be served at the pub. Is that German pub? I'm pretty sure that is German pub because I like my girl. She likes one of the beers there, like one specific one. She's like, all right, I'm drinking that. But it doesn't say, huh? If you could actually paint your own stuff.
Because I mean, I'd go and I'd paint, but it'd be like stick figures and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a painter like that one. Even that one's kind of hard. Let's see. This is the new one. that McRae Shopping Center Summer Market. This
Really?
Saturday, the 5th. Yeah,
this is going to be like the first one, or is it?
I think they had it last week.
Okay.
But they did just recently start back up because I hadn't seen it. This is Chukotown Summer Market at the McRae Shopping Center. Do they give us an address? No.
No.
And that's put up by Chukotown Market.
But that's off of the Gateway?
Yeah, right on McRae.
Okay.
I always thought, not to confuse people here, but I always thought that was the one where German Pub is.
Uh-huh.
But German Pub is on Viscount.
Yeah.
And this is, I just put it in just because of that conversation we were having. When we were just having a regular conversation, we were on our bikes. I think it was Darius too.
Yeah, it was
he
Darius.
came, man, that guy's always in our stories. And we were just talking about writing, like, oh, hey, I'm going to show you where I'm planning on doing the studio and everything. And I was like, hey, are you going to write? Are you just riding around? Or are you going straight home? And Darius comes out and what did he say? He's like, these guys are having biker talk over here. That
was pretty funny.
Like, it's not biker talk. We were just
regular conversation about where we're going next.
Yeah. It was kind of weird. It's like, man, because I'm at that point where I'm comfortable on the bike, and then I'll just have like a regular conversation. It's like, oh, I'm on the bike. Right. And some people that don't know, they're like, are you on a bicycle? It's like, no, I'm on my motorcycle.
Right.
But it is like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be the last one. Have you ever gone to those?
I have.
Really?
Yeah. I love it. I've also gone.
So what is it? Do you want to say what it is?
Well, it's just it's the Concordia Cemetery Ghost Tour with Ghost 915.
Trying to make you a part of it.
And this is going to be, thank you, I appreciate that, man. And this is going to be on the 5th, Saturday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And if you don't know where Concordia is, it's 3700 East Yandell. And it's a super cool event. You need to check it out. Have you been to one of these?
I haven't. No. I haven't, because I would actually like to, the Paranormal Society of Paranormal
Right.
Society.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to have them on sometime.
Okay.
I want to be able to get into the more alternative stuff. Because, I guess it's fair to say this is more alternative, right? Mm-hmm. And there's also one that came up on here where it was like a, and this is going to sound so off the mark, I guess, but it's like one of the fetish groups here in El Paso, where they'll teach you how to do, if you want to role play with your partner,
right.
They'll have like classes and stuff, and eventually, that's way more alternative, because I think it's even called like El Paso Kink something.
Okay.
And
how did you come across this?
It came out of one of their events, because you know how I just post, I'll look up events in between the week or whatever. And one of the events just popped up, and I was like, man, that'd be cool to eventually expand.
Right.
To be able to make that also, just not so much to normalize it, but to also be able to learn about that stuff. Yeah. And they had some other pictures where, you could tie up your partner and do like
if you do decide to talk about that and bring it in, as
is that you part of it?
No, not me. You call up Otis Hicks, man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, our buddy Otis, he works in a sex shop. He might have some input on it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I have thought, like I said, I have plans for everybody, man.
Right.
I gotta be prepared. Like, I don't know, have some pillows on the walls for when Darius comes by. He's just bouncing off the walls. And I already have something kind of thought. But that's why I'm working on the studio. It's a long time.
Right.
It's taking longer than I thought.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of, nobody knows this, but we're here at your place.
Right.
Doing this one.
Right.
Because I was like, all right, my studio's not ready, and it looks horrible, but I'm working on it. Maybe, I don't want to get ahead of it, but maybe sometime soon we'll be able to start getting that taken care of.
And until then, if you've got others that you have set up, as long as my lady's working, man, you're welcome to have them come here, and you can do it here.
Oh, nice.
It's
not a venue now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that as long as she's working, because if she's here, it's going to be loud. You're gonna have Game of Thrones in the background, or it's just some crazy stuff.
You're gonna get shut down with all these
the cats.
Copyrights.
The cats, for some reason, man, they get a little wild when Mama's home.
Yeah, I get it. All right, I have one more car show here, or car meets. This is gonna be EP Baddies, and it's Saturday the 5th, the 5th, 5/29. No, that's not even this week. That was last week.
Last week.
You know what? There it is. Dimitri's Market Car Show. This is over at Sanelli, which is cool.
Nice.
They don't have see
Right
that
on.
one.
Very cool.
And we were just out there.
Yeah.
So this is actually a car show from 11 to 6. And they have pretty much all your classes of cars to go into be part of the car show.
Look, and that one does have
Yeah,
motorcycles.
it does.
Nice. See, I know that some of them incorporate bikes a lot. I don't like when I cruise out with my buddies. When they invite us out to these different cars, they usually have like a little section where they have the nice custom bikes all set up. And one of my buddies actually, he's won a couple times with his bike.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. I don't know if this is another one. This is probably just a cruise. It was last week already. So that's going to be the last one. So that's a Sanelli. It's Dimitri's car show.
Dimitri's.
Let me see if I have a link to it or whoever posted this one. Yeah, it's Dimitri D Market on Facebook. And that's going to be June 6th, 11 to 6.
And that was like six events alone that were on one day.
Yeah.
That's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. But yeah, the one that I did miss, and because I know I was there for their very first one, or their second one, was the 444 motorcycle show.
Okay.
Over here at the Epic Rail Yard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Dude, that was like the perfect event for me. We went kind of late when people were already kind of starting to like shut down and everything, but all the bikes were still there and everybody was still having a few drinks, and then we got hit with the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
But I do want that one to come back.
That'd be sick. Yeah. I'd go check that one out.
There were some nice bikes out there.
Right on.
And I guess we'll end up with that, right?
Right on. Sounds
so
good.
We went over the hour. Hopefully people will stick around and listen to the whole thing. But yeah, so you're the first guest.
Right on, man. Hey,
good job.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
It was nice. The page is, like I said, I'm going to start sharing it on the open mics.
Yeah, you should have done it from the beginning, but whatever. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to put a better product out there, so I'm my own worst critic.
There you go.
So the page would be at AMP EPTX, and that's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then the YouTube is AMP El Paso. And I'm gonna start doing more promoting.
There you go.
That way people can find it more.
Oh, yeah,
and
man,
then
help you out with
for
that,
mine on my Instagram, it's at El Crazy Texan. I don't know if you follow me on that one.
On Instagram,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm so bad with social media. I need to get better on that because
me too.
Most of the stuff that I posted on Facebook, and then when I started the whole Instagram thing, meaning to do it for comedy, and I just have one picture of my motorcycle.
Yeah, yeah. I think I follow you actually.
Yeah.
I think I know what picture you're talking about. But yeah, so let's just end it with that, I guess. So follow AMP EPTX on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. That's AMP El Paso, our podcast. And for me, if you want to just see what's up with me, if you want to see my baby chicks that were just born, that's at El Crazy Texan. And I'll see you next week. Say bye to Marco, everybody.
Take it easy.